Okay, I was 100% ready. I did not
Are you
just
sure?
jump up and grab hairspray.
I didn't see it. I didn't see
just
it,
do
so it
that.
didn't
Yeah.
happen. I was trying to turn the air on, and it's hot as hell in this house.
My
Oh
hair has
my!
like a weird part today, so I don't know what's going on, but it's all good. It's all good. What's up,
That's a rumor.
everybody? I'm Allie Burns. This is Detroit Lenny. I like it better
What's
when it's like
happening?
that.
It's fine.
Welcome to Picks and Parlays. What's up, Breaking Vegas Sports Bets? How you doing?
So,
So everybody, welcome to the show. It's Friday, y'all. It's Friday.
yay!
Let's all start the week.
Friday, Friday.
Friday.
That's from
Um,
and my QVC watchers out there, because yes, I'm an old woman who watches QVC, and my wife hates it. And there's a guy on there, David. He's like 6'4", big dude, just whatever, and he talks about the most dainty little things. He's just you could tell he's a big guy because he's obviously tall, big guy, but his hands are big, and he's talking about his little gourmet crackers for the holiday gourmet stuff, and I'm like, bro, that thing's probably like a 6-inch sub, but in your hand,
right?
like it's gigantic. I buy stuff from QVC all the time. Mandy hates it.
Oh, not me. I'll get like stoned and into like a Flowbee infomercial or something like that and watch that I love to watch knives cut things. Like if you got a show about knives and you're just randomly cutting things, I'm all in.
I'm all about it. I bought Mandy's KitchenAid mixer off QVC. I bought her the shredding thing when I was a little stoned too. And I was sitting there, I was like, man, we could make these zucchini things that curl, does all the swirl thing, and now I can shred it, and it's all in one thing, and it's like the size of like a lunchbox, like a kid's lunch. I go, man, I could just put that on top of the fridge. I think we used it once when we got it, and it's been up there for like 2 years. But if I wanted to, I could make strictly cucumber shit. Okay.
Yep, zucchini pasta, zucchini. Yeah,
it was like $20.
It's a huge vegan delicacy.
4 easy payments.
That's all.
That's all. Yeah, I keep yelling at Mandy. I'm like,
if you use it 72 more times, it will have paid for itself.
So like during COVID, I wasn't working. First COVID, I wasn't working. I was just handicapped sports, right? Before I started with Picks and Parlays and stuff. And Mandy was still a little bit working at the office. So she'd come home and I'd be like high as hell watching QVC. And she's like, no more, Leonard. No. And I'm like, it's July, it's Christmas in July. And I'm like,
right.
But babe, I'm like, so start with Christmas stuff now. In 6 months, we've paid off. You got to think smart. 5 easy payments, no tax. I'm like, hey, and I can get it right now. I just got to make one payment on it. And then she's like,
that's it.
Bought all kinds of shit off there.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
It does.
So we do have kind of a booked show today. We've got Nick Parsons coming on to talk some Seahawks. We've got Scott Reichel coming in a little bit later. But first, I want you to give us a rundown, some draft tips for fantasy football, because the Parlays and I are in a league, and I haven't played fantasy football. I did 2 years in a row. I told you I won my first year. I won the whole league on a fluke completely. Second league, I put some thought into it, got crushed, horrible. And then I haven't played since. And that was when Escher was like, I was pregnant with him, and the year after he was born. So
like a whole nother lifetime ago.
Exactly. But first, I got to remind everyone about BetMGM, our official sports book, our official sponsor. Use this promo code. It's morning, like morning wood. Good morning. It's going to get you up to $1,000 in a risk-free first bet. And if you're in the state of Kansas, an extra $200 to welcome you to legalized sports betting. $200 in free play, no deposit required. So definitely check that out. Okay,
so you download the app and you get $200.
Bam! It's that easy.
If you're in
download
Kansas,
the app, get $200.
I don't understand. Like, I'm moving to Kansas.
What's stopping you? I know, right?
So. I mean, I don't know.
That's right. You did go to the Texans game. I know we won 17-0. I liked him yesterday. Julie Carly is a chicken, not a winner chicken dinner. She's a chicken, won't play fantasy with us. I'm like, girl, you fight raccoons. What are you afraid of for fantasy football?
Julie, play fantasy, and
there's only
I'll help you out.
Left.
I'll help you out,
one
Julie.
spot left.
But you got to knock that out, Julie. You got to take it. You got to come in late, hard and heavy, and knock them all out and win the damn thing. There's the last entry, Julie.
Okay, so fantasy draft tips. Give me your number one. Give me a tip. What do I need to do? Am I looking for quarterbacks first or no quarterbacks first?
No, you can get quarterbacks late. I wouldn't draft a quarterback till like the 5th, maybe 6th round, unless you're drafting like a Josh Allen or Josh Allen, to be honest with you. But for me, so the NFL right now, the way point systems work in fantasy, it's really heavy. The way the games are played, it's more of a passing attack. So you want receivers. Wide receivers are harder to come by than, say, running backs. Running backs now are usually a tandem 1-2 punch, so you don't get a lot of guys like Najee Harris is a guy that's a number 1 running back, but he has like 75% of the workload. You know what I mean? Where most players, like in Detroit, I use Detroit as an example because obviously it's my Lions, they got a 1-2 punch and running back. It's like a 60-40 split. So you don't want to draft that guy. You don't want to draft a running back too high. I draft wide receivers. I put more value on wide receivers over running backs. It's a deeper league, like deeper core, wide receiving core. You know, you definitely in first round should be going wide receivers, stuff like that.
What do you think about? I remember Kabir last year. Remember Kabir would come on and he had made a point about taking the same kicker as your quarterback's team. What do you?
Yes.
Any tips on kickers?
Don't take them in the first. Like take it the last. Listen, that should be your last pick of the draft. Is your kicker, and I look at kickers and defenses. Unless you get a defense or special teams like the 49ers or somebody like that, like that, is going to be a cut and above everybody else. They're pretty interchangeable. So you just want to get one that's consistent, kickers or defense. And then I'll be honest with you, I don't plan on having that kicker around longer than his bye week. Once it's his bye week, I'm going to swap him out and pick up another kicker for the rest of the year. And then at the end of the year, kickers, I might be dropping kickers and adding kickers week to week, depending on their matchup. Indoor, outdoor, who they're playing defensive wise. If they're playing indoor, I want that kicker because there's no weather. Somebody's like Indy's kicker, a team like the Lions kicker, good because they don't score that often, but they'll get close. Field goals. A team that's always close to the red zone, but they're not. I don't put a lot of stock in a kicker. I don't like, it's like no kicker has ever won me fantasy. I mean, so and then I do that should be defense you can get later mid-round. You can get sneaky on some defenses like a 6th, 7th round, but they're like later too. Be honest with you, I know you guys are using Yahoo for draft advice. Use the Yahoo pre-ranked settings. I use it. Okay. And so when you're in the draft room, you want a wide receiver first, right? So you just pull up the wide receivers and you can look up their projections for this year and just kind of sort it by that, like points, and look at who like teams like the Chiefs teams like the Raiders. You want, and I have a theory. I kind of want that wide receiver quarterback combo. Like if I'm drafting Devontae Adams, I want Derek Carr. If I'm drafting Patrick Mahomes, I want like I was going to say Tyreek Hill, but not Tyreek Hill. But one of those. That's a strategy, but not necessarily. You could live and die by that because if you live and die by that, like if your quarterback has a bad game, so does your wide receiver. You know what I mean? But if your wide receiver has a good game, your quarterback, that means your quarterback did too. Women love fantasy. Yeah. But I use that. Everybody talks about that, like a cheat sheet. My cheat sheet, my father-in-law called me the other day, had a fantasy football he's getting into for work. And he's like, what do I do for drafts? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, just use the preset rankings on Yahoo rather than, getting into it. Because you could spend an hour pre-draft fixing them, right? You could spend forever ranking them. Like you might think Derek Carr, you want Derek Carr more than Patrick Mahomes. So you can change his ranking to be higher, but it's a whatever. Right. But I like wide receiver quarterback combo. It's bit me in the ass. I'm not going to lie. It's a gamble. But it's a strategy. You got to go into that. Are you going to be heavy with the wide receivers, running backs? Just at the end of just keep scooping running backs. And if you get there one guy as your bench guy, don't draft 2 running backs or 2 wide receivers on the same bye week, because your whole damn team will be on the same bye week. You got to pay attention to the bye week.
That was the one thing I did. That was my one piece of advice that I knew. I was like, the one thing I remember, 2 quarterbacks, pay attention to the buys. Yeah.
You're going to draft 2 quarterbacks. You don't want them to have the same bye week. That's the actual, that's the opposite of what you want. If you're drafting Derek Carr and his bye week is week 7, your second quarterback, you should be looking at who he's playing week 7, because that's really the guy that's the week you're going to play your backup is that week, unless Derek Carr shits the bed or gets hurt or something like that, injuries, whatever. Right. Then obviously you're going to your bench, but look for your bench to do something like that. So I hope all that made sense.
Yes, I made notes. I'm going to watch this over, and we're going to ask Nick Parsons if he has any tips. Our special guest, Nick Parsons from the Insiders Room, is here.
You got to talk him into playing fantasy football, because I emailed him and he said he was iffy on it, and we need some insight. So peer pressure right now.
We're in.
Parsons, what's going on?
Not much. No, we're in. And that's all great advice there, Lenny. All of that for sure.
Thank you.
But yeah, a lot of fantasy football, it comes down to injuries for sure. Just all of your plans going in after the first week could just be decimated because of injuries. And so a lot of it is about really good pickups throughout the season as well. And that really determines
work that waiver
at the end. And so it's more than just the draft at the beginning for sure. I mean, that's just the beginning of the whole thing.
So is the Insiders Room going to play? Are you guys going to play? Okay.
Yep, we're in. And so there's like 4 or 5 of us, and so we can figure out exactly everyone. But no, we got a good group of people that are super excited to do it for sure.
So far
Scott Reichel's going to be on in a little bit too. He might want to play.
Okay, awesome. So far we have me, Allie, Hannah, Craig, Sean Higgs, Nick,
what about the twins?
And then Nick and Tim. So we have 7. So we need 3, but we could take 5.
Okay. Well, I think we'll have like at least 3, but no more than 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And we'll ask Reichel when he comes.
Because we could do a 10-team league, or we could do a 12-team league. It's half dozen one or the other. But so we need 3, but we can do.
This is a heavyweight crew for sure.
This is oh.
We feel like it'll be good content for all of our sites. It'll be good content. We can all go head to head. I'm going to lose. So if there's a prize for last place,
Allie wins.
Mine.
You know, it's just weird the way these things, it all comes down to injuries in the end, I've found in the end. So you never know. You could be the one that lucks out. You're just your team. It just happens sometimes. Your main group of players stays healthy, and that's enough to do it. So
sometimes that's just it. Yeah. So Nick Parsons, it's your first time on the Morning Wood Show. Welcome. I'm sure all of our viewers know you very well from all the total chaoses that you do. But yeah, welcome to Morning Wood. You're coming on. We're going to talk a little Seahawks today. You're up in Canada in Victoria, right?
Yep. Yeah, and so really close to Seattle.
Yeah, Seahawks are kind of your home team in a sense. They're playing the Cowboys. I'm seeing them at -7. That number jumped a bunch from a -2.5 to a -7. The 40 went down to a 37.5. What are we looking at here, Nick? What are you thinking on this?
Well, yeah, the Seahawks, the once mighty Seahawks, obviously they are not so mighty coming into this season. The Seahawks have lots of things going for them, though, even though they're not predicted to do that well. I think it's only between 5 and 6 wins, depending on where you're looking. What they do have is they got a great fan base for sure, and a great stadium. I think that these people are going to be pretty patient, knowing, they've had it pretty good for a long time and they're excited for the future and different stuff. But yeah, just looking at this particular game, why are the Seahawks favored by a touchdown on the road here in week 3 of the preseason? Well, because obviously Dallas could care less about this game. It just wants to get out of this game and get into week 1 without any injuries. But for Seattle, it has a real quarterback battle going on here between Locke, who came over in that trade for Russell Wilson, and also the veteran, escaping my...
Geno Smith.
Yeah, Geno Smith. But yeah, between these two. So we got a quarterback battle going on between these two. And so, yeah, that's why the Seahawks are favored here. They're still trying to figure out who will start here in week one. I mean, Seattle, you got rid of Russell Wilson. They got rid of a lot, Ali. They're totally obviously rebuilding. They got rid of their defensive leader, Bobby Wagner. So they do have some talent still. They made commitments there. They have DK Metcalf, Ty Lockett. But yeah, obviously the defense also has some talent. It has Quandre Diggs, Jamal Adams. But yeah, last week Locke didn't actually even play because he had some COVID issues, but he's expected to play this week. So yeah, just as far as this final game is concerned, I think that the quarterback battle, that is going to be enough here to help Seattle cover and win this game and have a little bit of momentum coming into the season so they can have some clarity about who will be their starting quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on this one. There's definite motivation on the Seattle side. Not the only motivation the Cowboys have is just to get through the game. Just get through the game. Nobody get hurt. Let's just get to week one at this point. You have any feelings about a total on this one? It's ticking under, obviously. I mean, if one team is suspected to show up and the other one's not, I mean, we all look to an under in that case.
Yeah, I would actually look to the over in this one. I think that Seattle really will be opening things up here. I don't expect Dallas to really put up much of a fight here. Dallas will probably get some points on this week Seattle defense as well. So I would lean to the over in that one. Yeah, but yeah, as far as Seattle's strategy for the rest of the season, I mean, we detailed there, 5 or 6 wins at the most is what they're predicted to win.
Right.
So, and they're in a really tough division with the Cardinals, the Rams, and the 49ers. They're going to be underdogs in every single one of those games, even at home. And really to win any of those games, they sort of would have to catch them in like a trap game. I mean, so it's going to be tough for them this year. So what's your strategy? I mean, really, you should tank and go for a high draft pick, really. But I guess we'll see what happens. I think
they're going to tank and go for a quarterback because next year's draft is pretty deep quarterback league or class, I should say. So that's my theory on that. I think they'll, 5-6 wins, maybe, something like that. I don't think they're going to be very good at all this year. They're going to scrape by kind of thing. And that's about it.
Yeah, but they got to get their fan base excited a little bit for the start of the season here.
Something.
You know what I mean? And so for this particular game tonight, I think that's a solid wager here with these two guys really trying to compete for that number one spot.
Lenny, you're a teaser master. What would you say about teasing the Seahawks down to a -1 and then teasing the over to over 30? What would it be? 34.5 or something like that. What is 31.5?
I did 2 teasers today in football.
Okay.
I took every NFL game and teased it under. So I took them all 6-point teasers, took them all up plus 6 points, and took them all under because I think they're all 4 are going to be just like last night.
Right.
17-10, 17. I don't think any of these teams are scoring 20 points. Out of 4 games tonight, 8 teams, I don't see any of them scoring 20 points. I think they're all just trying to get through this week without being hurt because even in Seattle, Geno Smith, he gets hurt. Now you're locked in on one guy, you know what I mean? Or you don't want anybody to get hurt. That's the whole goal. And I think all the general managers out there, every coach saw Zach Wilson go down week 1 and their hearts all skipped a beat and they all freaked out a little bit. And so now everybody's just trying to, yes, there's some position battles, trying to figure out who's your number one quarterback is a big one, stuff like that. But I think everybody's going to just try and skate through this week and get healthy for week 1 and figure some stuff out. The only one I'm really concerned about is the Patriots and the Raiders because because the Raiders are just they want to score points.
Yeah.
But I just did them all over. Or, I mean, I teased them up and under. So
yeah, I think it's worth mentioning again about the preseason, how different it is from years past with with just the 3 preseason games. And I did mention this to you before, Ali, just how the preseason always was definitely like a mini season in itself with the 4 games. And just you always knew what to expect in the first week, the second week, what you would see in the third week, and even in the fourth week is when there was always a lot of weak lines. That was a great time when a lot, and so it has changed the whole landscape of the preseason and how to approach it, especially as a situational capper. But
I love
and then these totals too. You could see from 1 week to the next, because in week 1, so many overs, and then there were some wild adjustments in week 2 there, and so I think that's going to be sort of the norm. Them trying to guess what's going to be happening from week to week in the preseason.
I love how you word it, like a season inside of itself, the preseason. I love that because it really was week 3. Like right now, we'd be looking at doing a lot of first half bets because you'd be seeing the number ones playing the whole first half. Where now you're not going to see that. You might see some number ones go 1 or 2 series, something like that, but whatever the score is at the end of the first quarter, it's probably not going to be much different at the end of the game. Maybe some sloppiness here or there with some 2s and 3s guys, but they're not going to I don't see any of these teams playing tonight trying to stretch the field or dominate in one aspect or the other, or getting real cutesy with the play calling or anything like that. There won't be a lot of blitzing. On third downs, there'll be some pressure, but there won't be a whole lot of crazy schemes on defense. So
it's really no one wants to show their cards at this point in the season too, right?
You don't want to injure anybody.
It's like muscle memory practice. Just go through the motions, throw the ball, catch the ball. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
Right, so tread lightly. Is this another tread lightly kind of a weekend?
I just gave you a 4-team.
I would say so.
Yeah.
That is lightly for you. You cashed a 6-team parlay yesterday.
Oh, I did yesterday. It was chalky as hell. I mean, it was so juiced. There was some -2 and 300s on there, but whatever. It was nice little.
Nice work.
It was. I like not to switch gears, but I did do another teaser. I sent that to you, Allie. I put it on TikTok.
I gave it to the parlays.
Yeah, I did. CFL. I took the 6-point teaser. I took the BC Lions +3 instead of -3. I did take the Bills +12.5 and the Cowboys +13. That's +160 on those 3 teamers, because I do think no matter what happens in all of these games, they end up by a touchdown, 10 points. Nobody's blowing anybody out. Everybody.
Have you had a chance to look at any of the week 0 college football lines, which starts tomorrow?
So that's
a lot of juice. I'm gonna get into that after Power Hour today.
Some pretty sharp lines on those week 0 lines, I think.
There are. There's some wait and see type situations for me.
There's just a lot of action too.
I know, and I have such a busy weekend, and I'm not gonna be able to watch a lot of college football on Saturday, and why
is Hawaii up to a 9.5 now? I saw them when they were a touchdown. I thought that was too many points. Why is this now a 9.5? Do we have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm not sure of the reason behind that. That's a good question. I would like to know.
I love Hawaii too. Ooh, Scott Reichel's here. Maybe he knows. Boop. What's up, Scott Reichel?
No.
How's it going? I'm 2 minutes early. Sorry about that.
It's okay. You're cool. Do you have any feelings on the Vanderbilt? Scott, have you met Nick Parsons from the Insiders Room?
I have now.
All right. Nick Parsons, this is Scott Reichel from Winners and Winers. You guys both have your own day of total chaos. Winners Tuesday. Yeah. And Lenny, go ahead.
I think I've kicked both their ass. The Winners and Winers and the Insiders Room, I think they were both on my hit list. And I'm just, tease the over on how many times Lenny wins. That's all I got to do.
Wait, wins in what?
I don't know.
What are you
In
talking
the total
about?
chaos.
I don't know. I'm just spitting words out at this point.
You didn't even beat me in total chaos the last time we played.
That's true. You tied.
I don't know what you're complaining about.
I win all pushes. We know that. Ask Allie. She knows it's part of my contract.
All
I win
pushes
all
defer
ties.
to Lenny, and they turn into wins. No, that's
Bam.
not true.
So dominating.
You usually pay extra for that type of teaser.
Yeah.
For the push wins, you pay extra for that type of teaser.
It's
But-
juiced. It's juiced.
It's juiced.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
It's juiced. So what are you looking at tonight, Scott Reichel? What are you into?
Well, you were in the middle of asking me a question. Something about the Hawaii.
Vandy and
Hawaii.
Hawaii. Why is
Yeah.
that Hawaii line gone up to a 9.5? That just seems like I thought 7 was too many points. 9.5 seems like way too many points.
So I'm leaning to Hawaii anyway, just because of the fact that even though Vanderbilt's favored, we know Vandy's not supposed to be good. However, the difference
Right.
between being bad in the SEC compared to pretty much any other conference. But Vandy's not good. I still think they have much better talent, but there's a lot of uncertainty with Hawaii. They got a brand new head coach. They got a bunch of new coordinators and coaching staff. They lost basically a lot of talent. Cordero's not even there anymore. So now they don't have one quarterback. They don't have two quarterbacks. They have 3. The problem is nobody knows who's going to start because they're all pretty underwhelming. But Hawaii is missing a lot of pieces from last year. The defense, let's just say, is a work in progress. This team is not going to be good, like at all. Neither is Vandy, but Vandy has an excuse of playing in the best conference. So if you're asking what the reason is, I think people are looking at either SEC pedigree or all the turnover that Hawaii had, and they just assume that Hawaii is going to be, let's just say, a work in progress throughout the entire season. The one thing I do know when it comes to betting the Hawaii games, things get weird when you travel to the island. So I'm not going to lay the points with Vandy. I actually like the over in that game. I think you're going to see a lot of points.
Well, maybe that's a tease the over in Hawaii.
Hawaii defensively is going to be a train wreck because they lost a lot of key pieces from that team. But they also picked up, of course, one of their program legend quarterbacks to be their new head coach. They picked up Eastern Washington's offensive head coach to be the offensive coordinator. So they're going to go no huddle pretty much every single play. And they're going to try to go back to the run and shoot offense where they throw the ball 50-something times and they go no huddle. So I expect a lot of actual possessions and plays to take place because of the speed and tempo they want to play at. I like the over. Vandy might score 40 in this game, but I think Hawaii can do enough to potentially score 20 and change, 30 or so. I see a high-scoring game. I like the over. But if you're asking about the side, I think Vandy probably wins, but I'm not laying 9.5 with the road team with a win total of about 3.5 traveling to Hawaii. I'm just not going to do that.
No. Nick Parsons, were there any other college games that you had your eye on in particular?
Yeah, just one thing about that, the game that we're talking about here is, the Commodores, they've been a decent bet on the road. They've covered an 8 of their last 10, but I think that's due in large part because they're always getting so many points in the SEC.
Right.
But yeah, Vanderbilt is only 1-3 against the spread in its last 4 as a favorite. And yeah, as Scott was pointing out there, when you have to travel across 3 time zones, that's difficult to do. They don't throw the ball a lot, and so that Hawaii defense sort of does catch a bit of a break this first weekend. I would lean to Hawaii there. But no, as I say, I thought that this week 0 card was quite sharp, these lines, and I was just as surprised as you, Ali, seeing that line movement there on that Hawaii game.
I love that over, though.
So you're saying you're not excited for Duquesne against Florida State or Florida A&M against North Carolina? We got a lot of great games to choose from, right? This card is so bad.
Duquesne in college basketball season.
First of all, I love the Nebraska Northwestern game. I love everything.
I'm guessing you like Nebraska.
Yeah, in every way, shape, or form. And that 11.5 is on the low side. They're going to win by 3 touchdowns. It's ticking down.
Really? It's at 11? I thought it was at 12.5 at this point.
Yeah, it was 12.5. Now it's 11.5, and the 50.5 went up to 51.5. So
you're going to be miserable It's going to be miserable one way or another because Nebraska killed them last year. They're the much better team. But do you really want to bet on Scott Frost in week 0? That's really the red flag that you're kind of addressing there. I think Nebraska should win by a lot. The main issue they had last year, besides the fact that they couldn't actually close out any games, was quarterback. We know Martinez didn't exactly work out there. I thought Casey Thompson was actually pretty good at Texas, so that is definitely an upgrade. Nebraska should be decent this year, but when you lose that many close games, I wonder how much of the coaching is the problem.
Right.
And that's the concern, but Northwestern's going to be terrible. I mean, that's going to be one of the worst teams in the conference. They're really not good, and they can't stop the run. So Nebraska might just run it down their throats.
So there you go.
Yeah,
Parsons,
I like
your
the
thoughts?
under. I like the under in that game. And Nebraska, but
You're afraid they're going to be drinking a bit too much in Ireland?
I'm hoping.
There's been another sort of a line movement there in Wyoming and Illinois. Illinois opened sort of -9.5, -10, and now it's gone up to 13.5. So yeah, I guess obviously Wyoming got hit hard by the transfer portal, and so they're just not expecting much from them. Not like Illinois did much last year, finished last in the Big Ten in passing, 112th overall in offense. But yeah, I guess they have made a couple changes in the offseason. Quarterback Tommy DeVito comes from Syracuse. New offensive coordinator Barry Lenny Jr. So they're expecting a step forward here. And so I guess that's the reason behind the line movement in that game.
So which way do we lean with it then?
I kind of like the under, even though that total is disgustingly low. Wyoming always plays at one of the slowest tempos. They try to run the ball 40 times a game. I mean, they're going to try to drain the entire clock. And Illinois is kind of the same boat. Now, they got DeVito, as you just said. The only problem is I don't think that the people that got him there actually watched him at Syracuse, because I don't think he was very good. So I don't think they really upgraded that much a quarterback. I don't think DeVito's a very good quarterback. So I still like the under in that game. I know it's low, but both teams really like to hold the time of possession angle, and I do think you're going to see a lot of really long and ugly drives, and you might see a lot of 7-minute drives that result in red zone field goals. So I think you might see a pretty ugly game there. I don't have any thoughts on the spread, because anytime the total's that low and I like the under, I kind of automatically lean towards the underdog because you don't have many points to play with at that point. But
100%.
I'm expecting just a hideous game of football. That's kind of what I'm expecting. So I'm leaning to the under, but it's a very low total, and for good reason.
Just piss poor.
If there's 10 games I'm watching on Saturday, and that's not one of them.
I'd rather watch Duquesne, Florida State over that game.
100%. I'd rather watch North Texas and Utah.
That's going to be a good game.
That's going to be a good game, right?
Probably won't watch. Baylor, Albany is playing Baylor, but I have to give a shout out. This is my bestie, Chris, when I was in Houston. This is who I stayed with, but his son goes to Baylor. He got to run out on the field last year. Remember, I sent all y'all that picture of his son got to run out on the field. So what's up, Chris, my bestie? Go Baylor. However, they are playing an Albany team. The number 10 ranked Baylor is playing Albany this weekend. So maybe not a game I'll be watching unless Colton's running through the field again. What else are we looking at? The UConn game. That's what I was going to bring up. Does anyone have any thoughts on UConn? It's at Utah State. The total is 59.5.
I would have picked Utah State because UConn's going to be terrible. Utah State just won the conference last year. They got a lot of people back. The entire coaching staff came back. The problem is the schedule because they have Bama on deck.
26.5 points.
They have Bama on deck. And that's the serious problem for me because everyone knows they're going to beat UConn. I mean, UConn wins a game, they have a parade. They're not going to lose to UConn. But the problem is when you have Bama up next, how much focus do you have going into the first game of the season without immediately thinking of Tuscaloosa on deck? So I don't exactly feel great about Utah State there. I would have loved them in this spot laying whatever number had they not been playing Bama the week after. I think it's a stay away for me because I really don't know how much they're going to care. And yes, it's the first game of the season at home. I get it. But a look at spots exist, especially when you have a trip to Alabama next week.
But that's your Super Bowl next week. It's
Super
Bowl.
And it's
Is that a buy game? Is the school getting paid like $300,000 to get their ass kicked?
They have to be.
I'm assuming. So I think I'm leaning UConn. I would probably try to jump in game. Hope Utah State gets out to a fast start. But wouldn't they pull all the starters once they're up in the third
by
quarter?
Halftime.
Because I was going to say you got to keep them healthy for Bama.
Right. You want every weapon you got against Bama. So
maybe
once they get up by like 3 touchdowns, they let off the gas.
Maybe first half. Maybe Utah State first half, and you hope that they come out focused early on. Nice tune-up game, good effort, bring in the bench unit, and then maybe UConn backdoors it. I think I'd lean full game UConn, though, because I really am concerned by that look-ahead spot against Bama.
Yeah. Parsons, do you have any feelings on that?
Just was looking at the total and just, I think that Utah State would take the foot off the gas, but just try to, maintain its lead. And so I would lean to the under in that one.
Okay. Yeah, it's a lot of points. It really is. But I mean, so is it a first half play then? Should we just be looking at UConn first half?
I think that's a solid strategy.
I mean, Utah State first half, and then maybe the total over first half. And then from there, the second half of the game is just going to be, let's not get hurt. And
this game has in play written all over it for me.
Okay.
That's how I see it.
I agree
it's a huge spread. Those large spreads I tend to stay away from when they're getting to those ridiculous amounts.
I mean, I just want to in play and probably mess with a total or something and hope somebody gets up early, or it's a tight game and then I can catch, Utah State to minus, like, say 13 or something like half that spread or something. Then I would probably jump on that. But realistically, I'll watch this game.
All right.
I'm more the game I want to watch the most on Saturday for real is that North Texas UTEP game.
It's a terrible card.
UTEP.
I mean, I'm not going to criticize you for it. The card kind of sucks. And if you want to talk about games that should be competitive, it's a 1 point spread or a pick 'em. That should be a really competitive game.
It really should. And I'm going to take. I'm telling you right now, I like the over on this game because I just think it's a shootout. Don't be surprised if this game goes into overtime. Something like that. I mean, it's going to be they're going to get into one of these teams is getting into the 30s. This is like a 31-28 game, something like that. This is a 33-30 game, something to that nature. That's how I figure it. I don't know a side. I like the over.
It's always difficult to try to handicap games while removing all bias from last season because North Texas made me a lot of money down the stretch. They basically ran the table in the last month. They had a nice win against UTSA, which I actually had North Texas on the money line in that one, and they ended up dominating. But it's tough to remove yourself because of how much money they made you last year. But I still think the North Texas team is actually not bad. They still have Un at quarterback, who's about 29 years old, and he's still their starting quarterback.
He's a 7-year senior.
He's like Matthew McConaughey in Dazed and Confused. He's still hanging around. But I'm still gonna lean to North Texas. UTEP should be better last year. They actually made a bowl game. They had a ridiculously easy schedule last year, which I think helps. North Texas, I think, could be a sleeper team in that conference. I think they'll get the job done. It's going to be very close, as you said before. Maybe the over cashes. I'm going to lean to North Texas because I do like the general foundation that team has.
I like the over, and it's for the same reason. I mean, we see this in college basketball all the time. These teams know each other. They don't like each other. It's North Texas and it's El Paso. That's UTEP is El Paso. These are like little Texas schools, and they come to play. And, we talk about it in college basketball. These are all the kids that got the Longhorns said no. The Aggies said no. The Red Raiders said no. So these are kids who got denied from their first pick schools who want to play well and get noticed and move themselves up a notch in future years if they can. And if not, just beat your face in while they're trying to. So I like the over in this. I definitely do.
UTEP took a big step forward last season, finished 7-6 last year. Previous to that, over the previous 3 seasons, was just 5-27. Gavin Hardison, he's back. He had a really big year last year. He should take a step forward. The Miners were also really good against the run last year. They're 4-1 against the spread their last 5 home games. I'm sort of leaning to UTEP here personally, but as Scott said, just with this spread like this, it's just so tight.
You flip a coin to be
I'm just going to lay off the side on that altogether because I would crisscross that if anything, because that's just it. Give one 6 and give the other one 4 or something. It's too close to call it.
It gets to a pick 'em so I could tease it each way.
There you go. Yeah, give me a
and then
give me a
hope
pick
that it
I
ends up in a
dare you.
3-point
Let me
game.
get +6 on both sides. Yeah, let me go. Let's do it.
but that'll beat them. I agree though with Breaking Vegas's last comment down here. Some of these games I think tomorrow are going to be good. I mean, it's a terrible card for sure, but it's week 0. Like it's always a shitty card. I mean, it just is, you know. I mean,
so that means in-game action for sure. You know,
in-game, yeah, 100%. So I mean, look at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, my time. I will be watching Austin, PA, and Western Kentucky, and I will probably at some point have an in-play bet on that game. And I haven't handicapped it at all in any way, shape, or form. But everybody that's watching this show or contributing to the show wants football back. And we're all going to jump on a bet for football that we probably normally wouldn't in the week 8. But we are going to because we want football back so bad.
I've been betting preseason for the last month, so I know exactly how you feel.
Me too. But I've been crushing CFL. So
I've been crushing preseason, so it's been working out.
Parsons is really good at CFL too.
I know. I love when we do free picks together and it's CFL or we talk CFL at all anytime because it's just good times. It's just good times.
Yeah, I love the CFL right up until this moment. I'm a big CFL fan, and then my attention always goes towards college football and the NFL.
I'm convinced that's why I've been shitting the bed at baseball is because I'm not focused as much energy and time on handicapping baseball as I am looking at, UConn, Utah State tomorrow, instead of an actual baseball game today.
So let's do some quick tips because in-play baseball is one thing, but betting in-play on football is kind of another thing. For me, and basketball as well. For me, I like to have a list, especially like when it's a shorter card, when it's football and it's everybody is playing. That's a tough list to have, but you got to make one. I like to make a list of what the opening lines are and what the closing lines are. So that way, when I'm in play, I can look at lines and see what the value is on them. Does that make sense? Like I know immediately that this started at 26 and now if I'm in play and it's at 36, I don't have to like look back. I know what I'm shooting for. I
know where it's going. Right.
Yeah. Do you guys have any tricks to in play like that, to jump in at some certain point?
Well, I was going to ask you that since you love to bet in play. Is there a specific number? Because I know you said usually 10. I think
in basketball it's 10 for me on the total. 10 on the total.
So what about football?
Really, what it comes down to is what do you personally think? How off do you think the bookmakers are? So I'm willing to give the bookmakers a 10-point leeway as to what their original total was, off of how close they were to the original total. 10, I think, is a pretty big number, and if I can get it there, that's what I want it at. In football, I'm not as good at this. I usually defer to Lenny for all things football. So Lenny, this would be your question. So yeah, 10 is mine for basketball.
Me, it's 6 because I do a lot of 6-point teasers during football season, college or otherwise. Like you can catch me on a 6-point teaser, 3 teams, 6-point teaser plus 160. Run it. I'm telling you right now, I could rip those off every week. I love them. So for me, 6 points. 6.5, like this is my teasers I'll go, but 6, it's in play 6 because I don't ever think that they're off that much. The book is never really going to be off, I think, that much. Right. 6 points, I guess. Thomas Kingston, you're still in.
Yeah, this is who's in, guys. AB, Joan, Lex, Rodney, Thomas, and Wilson. You guys can all just go home. Rodney's taking this down. He's on the heater of a lifetime.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
By the way, every time I see LWS in the comment section, I immediately think they forgot an S and they want to bet an L and they want to bet a Little League World Series.
Little League World Series.
We bet on that too, but no.
Just bet on Hawaii. They crush everybody. I mean,
they are awesome.
But every time I see that, I think that there's an L missing, and you actually are asking for like Little League World Series betting advice. Like
whenever I see the Max Wagers Network, I just think it's Morningwood or Mountain West. There's no Max Wagers Network in my brain. Yeah. It's that spot has been taken. Sorry. Nick Parsons, do you have any tips for in-play betting? Are you a big in-player?
I'm not, but yeah, with football for sure, you got to wait for, for the breaks, really, for those lines to change significantly.
Right.
And so yeah, you're having to constantly wait for those during the football. But no, you guys are more the masters of the in-game betting than I am. But I'm definitely getting more and more into it. individual
not having to
player.
be a professional.
Well, yeah.
We can just sit back and be degenerates, Lenny. We don't have to sell our picks to anybody.
Yeah, that's right. And
also,
it's like, what are you doing a teaser for? I'm like, because I'm a degenerate.
I'm not the best fantasy football player either. That being a really great, being able to judge individual player talent. That's something that's different than looking at an entire team together. And so people who can do that are really good at fantasy football, and they're probably really good at individual player props as well and different things. And so those are all things that I'm working on in my repertoire as well. But
yeah, I'm excited about fantasy just because I'm really trying to absorb more and more of football and get it into my, brain. And fantasy is just a great way to get to know players and what team they're on and things like that. So it's an educational experience for me.
Yeah, no, it's really difficult. The top DFS players, I mean, that's each individual. It's really difficult because each individual player is like an individual bet. You got to, and you got to line them all up and win each one. So
yeah,
it's tough for sure.
You got to pay attention. And now somehow I'm in 2 leagues. I've got the Parlay League and the Picks and Parlays League. So now somehow I'm commissioning a league and I'm in another league.
Right.
Did you know you were going to be a commissioner, or did they spring that upon you?
I started the Parlay League, and then Lenny had this idea. And now I'm like, now I've got notifications. You have a draft on Saturday, and you have a draft. I'm like, oh my God, Josh! Like I need
Nick Parsons. Our draft
Josh
would
is
be
really going to be out
next Thursday.
I imagine Allie in fantasy drafts being the queue expert.
Let everyone know.
She just puts every person in the queue. Like she actually.
Oh,
I'm assuming that's you, right? Is that what you do?
I don't even know. The first year I did it, I just let it auto draft because I'm that person who's like, whatever the universe gives me is what I will take. Whatever, that's what is meant to be. And I won my league that year. And then the next year I'm like, okay, so it was like Dree Archer. And then there was like a Bell who was a Steeler. And if Bell sat because he was like in trouble for weed,
there's Le'Veon Bell.
Then Le'Veon Bell. Then Archer was going to take his spot. And so like I was all big on drafting Archer. Like I need him because of Bell. And like I had all these strategies and these great ideas. And then like Bell played, Archer sat, waste of a draft spot. Just it was garbage. I got over it. Like in week 4, I was just totally over it and didn't care anymore. So yeah, I'm gonna refresh, try to start fresh, and I'm gonna go back to my just let the universe happen to me strategy, and then I'll move them all around from there.
I remember Dree Archer from Kent State. That's really the only thing I remember him for. Pretty decent running back then, but he wasn't good in the NFL at all.
No, tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Le'Veon Bell retires from the NFL to pursue his rap career.
Is that what they're called?
A lot of guys like
that's what he's doing.
A lot of guys I remember because I played. Like I had Devin Hester that year. He was a Bear. There's guys I know because Julian Edelman I know because they were my guys. So it definitely helped with learning football and like becoming more knowledgeable about the players and the teams and the sports.
Absolutely,
which was really my major goal here. Yeah,
the last league I
really got to pay attention week to week, and as I was saying. The injuries is such a big part of it, and so that really gets you into it. You got to really explore the different options.
Work the waiver
when
wire.
you lose a player, a good player on your team, then you really have to get into it.
See, I have like a lazy issue too. Like I don't want to draft anyone like a McCafferty. He's like the really injury prone one, right? The Christian McCaffrey that everyone's into. I don't want to draft him because I'm too lazy to figure out what I need to do when I can't play you anymore.
But what running back is not injury prone anymore besides like Jonathan Taylor? Like they've all been injured at some point. McCaffrey's more than others, but it's pretty tough to stay healthy.
I actually think he's going to have a really good year.
I'm just saying, like, I don't want to take the best guy I could get if I know that he's going to last 5 weeks.
I have the second pick in my league, so I actually don't even need to do any research for the first round. If the first person takes
breaking news, we're never going to know what.
I wonder if it was a snake draft. So he goes second, and then when he comes back.
That's how ours will be.
Right.
It's a snake. It's, it'll about 30 minutes before the draft, it'll give us the rotation.
We dropped you. Do you have a snake draft? We were speculating.
Sorry, my connection just keeps breaking for some reason. I don't really know why. But what were you asking? Sorry.
You were talking about your draft. You get to sit out the first. Is it like a snake draft?
Oh, yeah, it's a snake draft, but I have the second pick, so I don't have to do any research in the first round because I know Taylor's going to go first or second, and McCaffrey's going to go first or second. So whichever one the other guy doesn't pick, I'm taking. That's really how it goes. I don't really have to do any research on it. But
yeah, the first like 3 picks are pretty solid.
The third one's a bit tricky because you can go Derrick Henry, but he's off an injury, and it also depends on if you're doing PPR, if you're doing half PPR.
Right.
So that's why McCaffrey's kind of a points per reception. So the point is McCaffrey's kind of an auto pick no matter how injured he gets because it's PPR, and he's guaranteed when healthy to give you like 8 receptions and a bunch of checkdowns. So you kind of have to take him anyway.
Another aspect you want to look at is running backs that just run the ball and running backs that can catch the ball out of the backfield, because now he's a wide receiver / running back, and our league has a flex spot. So we'll be starting 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, a flex spot, a tight end, and a defense.
Okay, so we've only got about 5 minutes left. So I'm going to do some recapping, but I'm going to let you guys cruise. Nick Parsons, tell the people where they can find you, man. Hold on, let me pull up your Insiders Room Discord. You guys, if y'all don't know about the Insiders Room by now, you should, because we talk about them all the time. Rycape, we see Rycape in the chat. He's an Insiders Room guy. Ross, man. Tell him what you guys are all about the Discord. Nick, tell him about this Discord.
Right. So, yeah, you can check out how to get to the Discord from the Twitter. You can just go to our Twitter page there at the Insiders Room, and it'll lead you to the Discord. And the Insiders Room Discord is filled with hundreds and hundreds of people now. And yeah, it's really fun in there. Lots of conversation, lots of free picks. And we have a core group of guys there, the insiders, as you just talked about there. We're coming on Total Chaos. And listen, these guys are giving out free plays. They're giving out lots of picks and advice and different things. So the best way to check it out is just come over to the Insiders Room Discord and come say hi.
Definitely. And you'll always find them at the tops of the picks and parlays leaderboards also. So click on the link or go to picksandparlays.net looking for premium plays, best bets, and then click on the Insiders Room and use the promo code NFL. That's going to save you 20% off whatever you grab from the Insiders Room. Guys, join this Discord. It's a great way to connect with other real life handicappers in real time, discuss games. I know the Twins are in the Discord. Jessica Campbell, one of our parladies, is in the Discord. I'm in the Discord. I just don't ever check in because I'm not good at things like Discords. But if you're a Discord person, you should definitely get hooked up with the Insiders Room. Thank you so much, Nick Parsons, for coming on Morning Wood today. We'll have you back again really soon as the season progresses, for sure.
Thanks, Ellie. Okay.
Thank you.
Later.
Bye-bye. And Scott Reichel, tell the people what you are all about and where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at Reichel Radio, retweet a bunch of podcasts I'm on, etc. Besides that, I do my free YouTube pick every day on the Winners and Whiners YouTube page. So far, been a bit of a good run this week. Fingers crossed. Hopefully that continues on to Friday. But besides that, I actually have a show, a live stream in about 4 minutes on the Max Wagers Network with Chris. So if you want to catch me live, ask me some questions on today's card, you can find me there.
Perfect. I'm actually going to Joe Madden in 15 minutes. So if you guys want to catch me on Joe Madden, check on there later after Scott's show. But follow him at Reichel
I'm probably
Radio.
going to my kitchen in like 5 minutes. So if y'all want to catch me there.
Do you have a green screen in your kitchen too, or is that only for the?
It's only for the bedroom.
No,
I don't even have it on right now.
My entire house in green. Are you kidding me? My entire house.
I don't even have my green screen on right now. It's
I forgot you can just do it straight from the computer, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The virtual background.
No, it's really just looks like this.
Nice.
Behind me.
I want that.
I have a green shirt on my chair, so my green screen, but I forgot to put my green screen down.
Oh my goodness. Lenny, while you're in the kitchen, I can get a Coke. There you go. Oh, can I get a Coke? Yeah, while you're up, can I get a Coke?
Sure. Hold on.
This is when you're deciding to do this. Okay, Scott, thank you so much for jumping in today.
Thanks for having me.
I will see you. Are you free for chaos today? I might do an NFL chaos for Saturdays.
Yeah, sure. Just let me know what time.
Okay, it'll be around 7, but
okay, sounds good.
I'll let you know.
Cool. I'll see you.
Okay.
I'm back.
Let's see what it is. All right. Okay, so let's pay some bills real quick, and we're going to recap those fantasy football tips and the picks that we got through for the show. But I just want to remind everyone, like, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. BetMGM Sportsbook, the official sponsor of Picks and Parlays, up to $1,000 in a risk-free first bet. Bonus $200 in free play money if you are in Kansas. For all new accounts, just download the app, and use the promo code MORNING, MORNING. That's it. That's all you are getting from me. Okay, so I know I need a good cheer for that. Okay, so let's
don't know how to do the R and the N.
This is important shiz right here,
Okay.
people. Okay, to make sure I have everything right. You want to draft quarterbacks in the 5th or 6th round unless it's Josh Allen or Josh Allen. Okay,
right.
Everyone else 5th, 6th rounds.
The quarterbacks are deep. You know, but is there not a big difference in a whole lot of quarterbacks?
Okay, so take your
first
wide receivers.
Couple picks will be running backs.
Huh?
If you're drafting 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, you're going to take a running back because there's there's like 3 or 4 running backs that'll go. Like
so
Jonathan Taylor
before wide receivers.
Only in the first couple. Only the people that have like the first 2 draft picks. Whoever picks 1st and 2nd should take Christian McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor. Those should be the first 2 picks of your draft. Whoever has those 2 picks, it doesn't matter if it goes bang, bang, bang. After that, I would go wide receivers though, because there's only 2 running backs. Derrick Henry could be the 3rd running back, but after that, the 4th, 5th, 6th pick, start running wide receivers. Patrick Mahomes is not a 1st round draft pick.
Okay, so your kicker should be your last pick. And you may be dropping and adding kickers like week to week. So stay on top of that. Situational. Defense should be a later pick too.
Yeah.
Use your pre-draft settings on Yahoo if you need extra help. Look for wide receiver and quarterback combos, but also be careful because they'll have bye weeks together. So make sure you're paying attention to the bye weeks because you don't want a quarterback who has a bye when your other quarterback has a bye and then you're all buyed out. You're all bought out. Okay. And then also PPR is points per reception. So everyone knows that.
Yes.
So Lenny today has teased every NFL game under. That's his tease of the day. That's real life.
It's worth a $20 bill, folks. It's worth a $20 bill.
I'm gonna throw a 5 on it. I made my first goddamn sports bet. Lenny already knows. I made my first bet yesterday because I had to go to William Hill to take out money. So I leave 40 in there, and I'm like, all right, I'll double up my 40. I'll get my 40 to 100, and I'll cash out again. $5 on the Oakland A's plus 1.5 at plus 110. Well, that went south. So
I had the Mets on
my handicappy Tom pick.
I had the Mets on the money line. I ain't even gonna lie, on that part of that 6-teamer that was real juicy, and it was like minus 400 or some crazy crap, right? But so then I texted Allie and I'm like, I got $5 on the Rockies. It was 0-0 in the 3rd inning. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I'll throw $5 at it plus like $3.50. Here you go. And then right after I did that, I updated the score on my laptop, and it was 3-0 Mets. And I'm like, well, all I had to do is spend $5 to get this 6-teamer. No problem. I will donate $5 to win that 6-teamer.
The thing that I did, I took because the scoring in the Yankees A's game, that scoring was so steady. I'm looking for a way to. I couldn't really hedge myself. I couldn't make sure that I couldn't lose a bet. I couldn't lock in money. But the best option I had was by the end of the 7th inning, it will go over 12.5 runs. So I put $3 on that to win $6, which got my $5 back. So I actually ended up a little bit, but I could have lost 10 or 8 over the whole thing. But that one I did cash. So I'm 1-1 back to betting. I was 1-1 on HC. I'm just the queen of 1-1. And I even said it to myself because my first pick lost yesterday, the Guardians first 5 that I told everybody on this show not to take. I took that as an HC. So it lost, but because I'm the queen of 1-1, I was like, I should go all in on my second pick now because that's going to cash. I'm on a 1-1 streak, but I did.
I was doing that for a while. Just if my first baseball game lost right out the gate, I doubled up on my second one because I knew I was going to win that and go 1-1. But I went 1-1 again yesterday in handicap 10.
Oh my gosh, lots of talk.
I'm happy with 1-1 though because I had a 0-2 day to put day before.
I love mustard sandwiches. Don't even talk crap about a mustard sandwich.
He gives me shit about I posted a picture like I think Father's Day or something by brat, and they had yellow, just regular French's yellow mustard, and he's like, you need to upgrade your mustard game. I since have upgraded my mustard game. I've been looking now.
real quick, we got to let you guys go because Scott Reichel's show started 3 minutes ago. Any thoughts on the New Mexico State plus 9.5 matchup?
No.
It's just tough right now. Yeah. If you already bet it, just go with it, man. Just go with it. They're playing Nevada. I don't know.
I'll probably take New Mexico. I'll probably take Nevada plus the points.
I love Rye or Die. That's a great play. Okay, I'm going to take that just because you called it that.
Raise money line.
I don't see why not. Okay, guys, thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you to Nick Parsons from the Insiders Room. Make sure you guys are joining that Insiders Room Discord at the Insiders Room. Thank you to Scott Reichel. We can all say thanks to him by heading over to Just Parlays right now and seeing what he's up to. I'll be on Joe Madden in about 15 minutes here. Hit that like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. Good luck this weekend, unless you're against Lenny.
Facts.